Hey guys, it's Mystical Storms again with a chapter 5 called The Origin Question. So, yeah, made sure to drink some water before, so hopefully that helps because my throat's saying fuck you right now, but kind of understandable. Been reading fanfic for a few hours now. I started around 10 and now it's already midnight. So, yeah. Anyway, let's get started. He was stressed. The morning after meeting Jiren, he had woken up too early, barely getting 4 hours of sleep, which wasn't bad, but definitely wasn't enough for a boy his age, especially if he barely got 5 to 6 every other night, not counting all the all-nighters he constantly pulled. It had taken him a bit of stumble to get to his bathroom and take a shower. He had forgotten one after coming home, just going straight to bed after. Not the best choice, but it didn't matter now. He had to wash the sheets anyway. Living the lifestyle he didn't allow too much laundry washing. Staring at himself in the mirror, he looked pale. Young, pale, obviously lacking sun on his skin, food in his day-to-day life, almost like a ghost. His bones were a little bit more apparent than 2 weeks ago, and another 2 weeks before that, but he was surprised he didn't really feel it. The lack of food, not yet at least. This quirk heal him from that too? He doubted. It would be nice though. Scrubbing his hair as hard as he could, he washed out the spray he used last night. He always made his hair extra curly, and Dobby had commented on that last night. Though he wasn't the one talking, his hair was far from a cry from being taken care of and soft, but it still sucked. He was surprised his hair didn't fall out yet, which how much he abused it. The water stained black ran down his shoulder and the back, leaving small trails of color in its wake. He sighed, rubbing his eyes, hissing as shampoo got in one of them. That was stupid. He hadn't noticed the residue on his fingers. Was he that tired, or just overthinking everything like he always did? The school was struggle as always, nothing new. Running around as Yami didn't seem any different either, but then there was Eraserhead on his ass in 2 different ways, and the Jiren stupid Dobby for taking him there. He was grateful, of course, his friend looking out for him and trying to find ways to get money because understands the struggle, but damn, he was exhausted. He groaned slightly under his breath, his vision blurring just for a hot second but enough for him to slip and tilt sideways until his shoulder met the wall. Tiles digging into his skin. He hissed, pushing his palm against the wall to straighten himself out. What the fuck? His stomach growled. Right, no wonder. Izuku finished a shower, making his way to the kitchen, opening the fridge. Nothing was in there, but the motion was familiar, and some part of him always hoped that maybe something would appear in the forsaken white box. But nothing ever did, and he let the door shut with a loud thud echoing through his apartment. He went to the pantry next. There was a 50-50 possibility of food being there because he sometimes did buy extra stuff and put it in there and often forgot that he did put it in there. Nights were hectic and trivial things to slip his mind far too often, like homework or food or rest. Living alone without someone reminding him to take care of himself was challenging. He ripped the door open. I looked at nothing but one pack of ramen lying around. At least there was something. It was good. It was good ramen too, one of the expensive brands. He must have treated himself that day. He would treat himself today as well. He should have gone to buy some food, but a few coins in his pockets didn't give him much to work with. His father was a little late than his usual payments, so he simply didn't send Izuku the money for living, just paying the trivial stuff like apartments, electricity, and water, so he could live there. But food, no, Izuku had to find money himself. Though before that, he at least had a few thousand yen on him a month, A plus for his child support or whatever. He set the ramen pocket down and grabbed his laptop from the living room, quickly turning it on and sighed. Yeah, his dad paid for the apartment for the next month. That meant Izuku got no money this month and probably the next one too. Who knew? Maybe his father would eventually stop paying their place altogether. He wouldn't be surprised. Ever since mom's death, he just disappeared. Izuku had never really talked to his father before that either. He knew his name was Hisashi Midoriya, but that he worked somewhere outside of Japan. His mother still loved him, and he supported them pretty well. Now that Izuku felt the connection to the gifts he had gotten through the years eventually stopped around his 10th birthday. Then mom died, and his father was contacted for the cause because Izuku was too young to live alone. Izuku didn't know the details, but he was pretty sure his father bullshitted some stuff because next thing Izuku knew, he was living alone with money sent every month for necessities, and no one was able to contact his father. Now it seemed his dear old dad was finally cutting ties with him. Fun. Izuku shut his laptop and took the one ramen packet and hoped it would feel full enough for the day. He could worry about money tomorrow or the day after, or he pulled out a kettle, making the rest of the pots rattle loudly, making him wince at the sound. He filled the kettle with water, set it down on the stove, and waited for the water to boil. Leaned against the counter and sighed. Jiren. He could take the job, could ask for half the payment up front. It wasn't something he did often, but it didn't matter. If they reached out for him, they knew he was good and shouldn't mind the half payment. More often than that, it was the money beforehand in the villain world, based on how secretive Jiren was with the deal. The whole sending in other people they pay should be good. Izuku threw the seasoning into the boiling water. Or he could steal some from tugs here and there. It wouldn't give much, but it would be something. He couldn't ask Dobby. That guy was already struggling with money as it was, and he was the one who set Izuku up with Jiren. He slipped the noodles in the pot and mixed them. He was on his last hair dye as well. New food, needed new clothes, probably new notebooks as well. He needs stuff, and a lot of it. Should he take the deal? There was too little he knew about it. He could be essentially stepping into a trap and getting himself arrested. Jiren was a villain, that much Izuku knew, but after quick research on his way home, he knew Jiren sometimes helped the good side of the law for adequate payment, unlike Izuku, who fucked around and did it for free because it was fun. He sighed, fishing his ramens and pouring it into a bowl, the scent making his stomach growl. It had been a bit since he last eaten. His phone buzzed and he frowned, grabbing it, and he set the bowl at the table and dug in. It was Shinsou. He frowned despite exchanging numbers a few days prior. They hadn't actually talked, beside a few memes, occasionally cat memes to be precise, amused Shinsou dearly, and Izuku just had too much of them on hand. He had an inkling that a certain hero would enjoy it wholeheartedly as well. He hissed at the temperature of his food and decided to answer the message as it cooled down. His stomach growled again in response. Yeah, he knew. From Shinsou. Wanna hang out? Okay, that was surprising. Izuku tilted his head. Was this a friend thing? To Shinsou. You're assuming if I'm free right now. From Shinsou. Well, are you? To Shinsou, I'm having a late breakfast, so technically. From Shinsou, technically it means that in 10 minutes that means that in 10 minutes you'll be meet me at the park in 30. Izuku snorted. To Shinsou, I didn't say yes. Oh well, whatever. I wasn't planning on doing anything anyway. He had a lot to do. Clean his apartment, wash laundry, look up gear properly, plan out his moves, do homework for fuck's sakes. He had too many things to do at hand, but not enough hours in the day, but fuck. He stared at his phone, listened to the silence in his apartment, then realized he'd rather go out and hear someone's voice. He hated his apartment, he hated the smell of cheap detergent, he hated the empty fridge that never seemed to be full, he hated staying there ever since it became silent. Just a reminder that how badly he fucked up that time when his dreams were still realistic to him. The time when he thought he'd just get a head start on heroics or whatever, how cruel life was, how naive he used to be. There was a reason why he hung out more with Adabi's apartment than his own. That's why he wandered around on rooftops at midnight and gave Eraserhead a scare, be it as Yomi or Izuku. However, he would rather not meet the hero as Izuku again. It was far too dangerous to let him in. Bad things happened when he did that. Maybe he was putting Shinsou at risk of getting hurt, but he needed someone to remind him that he wasn't a walking ghost pretending that his first death wasn't his last. Hey, he called out weakly, catching Shinsou's attention, who briefly smiled, calling out a greeting in return. He still looked like he needed sleep. As soon as possible, Izuku could relate. You're 5 minutes late, he teased, and Izuku rolled his eyes. He might have fun. Run late just a tiny bit. I can find clean socks, he said. He really should wash his laundry because the number of dirty clothes compared to the clean clothes was getting ridiculous. Next thing he knew, he would be going out as Yami in President Mike's hoodie, and wouldn't that be funny? He didn't linger on the thought though. He had a perfectly clean All Might hoodie and just smiled at Shinsou, who shook his head. Mom didn't put them where they should be. He raised an eyebrow. Izuku winced. Yeah, no, awkward. I don't have a mom. He watched Shinsou's eyes widen, a small curse slipping out, possibly light flashing before his eyes. That's obvious fuck up. And Izuku got the really did. Not everyone had a shitty life situation like him. People usually don't think whether someone has a mom when they talk about simple matters, because the social norm is that a kid has at least one parent or a guardian they could rely on. Izuku just wasn't that norm-fitting kid for anything. Oh, she's a voice cracked. Sorry. It's fine, Izuku smiled, bumping his shoulder gently, setting off on a direction to get out of the park and deeper into the city. Don't worry, Shinsou. If you ever offend me, I'll let you know. Shinsou nodded, following Izuku. They settled into somewhat a comfortable silence, just thrugging across city. So, where are we going? He looked at Shinsou, who looked at the store they passed, his eyes lingering on this display item only for a small second as they moved along. Izuku wished he could zone out the same way, just a little bit. No idea. He shrugged, and Izuku blinked. Really? You invited me and you don't know where to go? You're a bad friend. He laughed as Shinsou gasped, looking at him with wide eyes and mock shock. His hand coming to rest on his chest, Izuku laughed, sending Shinsou a fit of giggles as well. We're friends? Izuku looked at him with a small smile on his face. We can be. If that's fine with you, that is. Izuku saw Shinsou nod, and something lifted in his chest. He had thought of them as friends before, kind of, but getting confirmation from Shinsou felt quite different. Dabi was a friend, sure, but this was different. He could be himself. Cool. They kept going pretty much nowhere, just circling streets and looking at things both of them most likely have seen countless times already. Izuku sighed as they passed the street near the station the third time until something clicked in his head. Wait, I know, he said. He sped up, leaving Izuku to catch up with him. Midoriya, wait up! Shinsou called, rushing after him, his long legs falling in steps with Izuku's quicker stride with a small struggle. Damn, you're fast for your stature. He rushed out as Izuku just walked faster for the fun of it. I'm only a few centimeters shorter than you, Izuku scoffed, but slowed down in the end when Shinsou took a deep breath, clearly cursing out Izuku in his head. Izuku checked the location and turned towards the road that took them to a less populated area. The Goba Beach was a place nothing more to say about. It was a beach but it was littered with trash piles and no one wanted to clean up, as people just piled more and more every day. You took me to a trash place? Shinsou stood right in front of this sign of the Goba Beach. A little out of breath after 15 minutes of walking faster than he seemed to be used to. For Izuku, it was a normal walk around the city. When someone can come out of the dark and stab you, you tend to walk faster. The beach actually, but technically the trash pile as well. Izuku chuckled. Walked past the sign and stepped into the sand. He could hear sounds of waves crashing against the rocks. Some seagulls were in the distance, but the view was cut off by enormous piles of trash. Even the gentle breeze of wind could ruffle their hair wasn't present. Tragic. Great. Shinsou followed him, his gaze roaming around the trash. He could understand the boy's uncertainty, but despite its look, this place is cool. Dangerous but fun, especially for two teenagers who had nothing to do. Don't be so down. It's actually quite nice. There are quite a few things to find here. Izuku looked around the pile. As far as he knew, people dropped pretty good stuff here from time to time. Not like he went here often and picked up trash, but he'd seen some goodies here and there. One night, after running away from an angry man that he had fucked with just for fun, he had settled here on a very nice couch and taken a nap. It was a little far from home, unfortunately, so he didn't get here very often. Many other things occupied his time. What, like this? Izuku pulled a poster of a pineapple wearing a bikini. Yeah, maybe it wasn't the best, but it was funky, at least. Nope, like this. Izuku laughed, pulling a bat out. It was almost new. The only thing was paint coming off of it. He saw no dents, no cracks. Why would anyone throw such a good bat out? He had no idea, but he found it and he kept it. He looked at Shinsou, who gaped at him and grinned. Let's spar. He pointed a bat at Shinsou, who took a step back, his eyebrow raising his line. What? You heard me. Come on, let's spar. Izuku walked towards Izuku, who gulped. Do we have to? I'm not good at hand. That's fine. I wasn't either. Izuku laughed, and as Shinsou pretended to have a heart attack, his gaze sharpened. That's past tense, my friend. You scare me, Midoriya. Shinsou watched him as Izuku flexed his wrist with the bat. The wood was good. He smiled softly and set the bat down, gesturing to Shinsou to come to the clearing where he didn't pose a danger to flying onto something sharp and staying there. Izuku may walk it off like nothing, but as far as Izuku knew, Shinsou was just a meat suit not made for getting stabbed, and laughed it off. Come on, Shinsou, it's not like you have anything better to do. Shinsou sighed, messing his head with his fingers. He groaned. Fine, but you're paying my hospital bill. Certainly, Izuku grinned, and Shinsou just sighed again. Izuku stood, gesturing to Shinsou to come at him. He may never have had professional help to learn about hand-to-hand, but fighting almost every night had helped him hone his skills. The most came from observing heroes every day for years. At first, he could barely keep up with his mind and his body awkward fumbling with moves. Eventually, his instincts kicked in, and he could hold himself decently enough. Of course, big opponents and Quirk still posed a threat to him because of simple logic, but he was a-okay most of the time. He kept a sharp knife on him was almost a thing. Now he could add a bat to it. Shinsou rushed towards him, his arms pulled back for a punch. Izuku grinned, sidestepping. He grabbed Shinsou's arm as he stopped, staggering, trying to move away, but Izuku had his hold tight and let the momentum of Shinsou's own weight pull him over and land on his back. Izuku still holding his arm tightly. "Oh my god, I'm dead," Shinsou wheezed, getting up and rubbing his back as Izuku let go of his arm. "You're not. I'm dying." Shinsou got up and on his wobbly legs. "I only flipped you over," Izuku shrugged. Shinsou gave him a look rubbing his arm. Perhaps he had grabbed too hard, but he didn't know how much Shinsou weighed, and if he didn't use enough force to start the movement, Shinsou would have just face planted first into the sand over his hip, and that was just not what he was going for. "You're too big. Who just flipped me over like nothing?" Shinsou patted his body down, getting rid of the sand that clung to his clothes. It was a futile attempt as the sand only seemed to shift even more and not get off. He groaned, giving up. "Because you're unstable as fuck. Your center of gravity is too high, so it's easy to get you off your feet and, well, down on the ground." Izuku had noticed that Shinsou was carrying himself awkwardly, like he didn't know what he was doing. He probably didn't. It wasn't really normal to know hand-to-hand at a tender age of 14 turning 15. Izuku was just a weird case. Show me how to do that?" Shinsou rubbed the back of his head, and Izuku smiled. He could do that. He walked to Shinsou, pushed his feet apart for a more stable footing, and took his arms. "Okay, go here. Have your hips against my side. Take my arm and push me up with your hip, and pull." He set himself into the position for Shinsou to flip him over. It was just a basic move that, if drilled into simple muscle memory, could be used as a way to escape someone trying to go after your throat. Of course, it was a game of luck and momentum and proper hold, and it didn't always work since Izuku was smaller, but Shinsou had a few extra centimeters on him, actually meat on his bones. "Are you sure this is safe?" Shinsou adjusted his hold on Izuku's arm. If Izuku didn't have his hoodie on, he was sure he would feel Shinsou's clammy hands, but he just nodded. "Absolutely. If anything, I have a healing quirk, remember?" It wasn't easy to fuck up this move, but breaking an arm and landing badly was a thing in every move. Izuku had experienced this on himself many times, where the ground was somewhat even and he really could just heal if the Shinsou decided to accidentally harm him. "Somehow, it doesn't make me feel better." Shinsou laughed awkwardly. Just trust your own body." Izuku prompted him to try as Shinsou adjusted his hold once more and taking a breath. "Okay, I'll count to 3, 2, 1, holy..." Izuku's world was tilting and he was on his back staring at Shinsou, who gave before letting go of his arm, pulling him up. Izuku blinked. "Is that okay?" Shinsou asked, eyebrows raised with a small smile on his face. "I think I just saw God," Izuku whispered. The movement was really fast, and Shinsou had bumped him enough to do it pretty much perfectly at the first try, too. He was natural. "Is that good or..." "Yeah, no, it's fine. Your form, absolutely perfect." Izuku patted Shinso's shoulder, giving him an encouraging smile. Thanks? Shinso relaxed, dropping his shoulder. Want to know more? Definitely. Izuku grinned. The next hour or so, Izuku spent showing different moves to Shinso. The guy grasped some better than others, failed and succeeded, but they had fun. Izuku threw Shinso onto the sand more times than he could count. Eventually his arm started to hurt, and he knew this meant that Shinso had to be absolutely dying. They took a break, Shinso taking 5 to run to the store and grab some drinks. After assuring Izuku that it was fine, he would pay for both of them. Shinso didn't know that Izuku was struggling with money, but Izuku hadn't actually taken any cash with him, either because the temptation of sweet would have him spending his last of his money. They sat on the bench overlooking the beach. Part of it was still decently clean, only because there was a wooden ramp extending onto the beach, and people were smart enough to at least shield that with trash. I was wondering, Izuku looked at Shinso, who finished his drink and threw it in the trash can. Do you want to be a hero or something? Why do you ask? Izuku sat up straight. Somehow he knew that this talk would come along. Everyone wondered about heroes. Many people wanted to be one, but not Izuku. Shinso shifted by his side, most definitely feeling Izuku's lack of comfort at the question. I mean, you know hand to hand, you defend that woman the other day, so it fits, you know. And to be honest, almost every kid wants to be a hero nowadays. Shinso explains. And yeah, logically it makes sense. Nowadays tend to try to train on their own before going to hero school. Not many succeed, but it wasn't that weird or rare. It's not like they become pro or anything, but Shinso had a point. He didn't know hand to hand, acted like a hero that day despite being quite rude, but it'd be chalked up to personality easily enough. If he didn't think he acted aggressively that much. Do you? He asked instead of answering because the ball of emotions welled up in his throat, and he wasn't sure how to decipher it. At least enough to give an answer that didn't sound like a lame excuse. He knew he shouldn't be justifying himself for not wanting to be something, but in the world where heroes were worshipped at his age, not to be one, yeah, no, that asked for a proper answer. Otherwise, people pointed at you and you were weird. Different. Izuku had far too much of that in his life for his taste. You didn't answer my question. Shinso shifted by his side, and Izuku just shut down. Right, Izuku laughed, rubbing his arm, staring at the sand. No. He definitely managed to say. It was small and pitiful, and he laughed again, rubbing his neck. No? Shinso hesitated, and it was good. It was all well and good. It meant he wouldn't pry too much, because he was uncertain whether Izuku wanted this conversation, or he wholeheartedly definitely didn't. He pushed through as much as he could. I don't see myself as a hero, to be honest. Maybe before, but now, no. After everything he's done, being a hero would be kind of like spitting on his mother's grave. Like, yeah, he went and did stupid shit, most likely got people killed, but yeah, change of career, let's be a hero. He wouldn't, not anymore. Shinso hummed at his answer, and Izuku felt his heart race. Ask if you want to be a hero, and not when you see yourself as one. I told you, I didn't. I told you I don't, didn't I? Izuku snapped. He felt guilty after his inside turning at raising his voice at his friend. He just made because finally came out of his comfort zone of wasting away and trying to jump off a roof. Yet it took some questions, and he shouldn't really be getting upset because people are just curious and he took them badly, just spat out right back because he's sensitive and tears were welling in his eyes before they hadn't learned how not to cry. It was pitiful. Sorry, that was uncalled for, he whispered as his voice cracked, so apparent that he was hurt or whatever. Shinsou reached out on his shoulder, placing his hand awkwardly, meant for comforting, but only really setting Izuku more on the edge. He could understand the sentiment, though. It's fine. Can I ask why? Shindo slipped his hand away. It's fine. If you can't tell, I'm definitely overstepping my boundaries today. Izuku had said, and he would let Izuku know. He would let Shinsou know, and he definitely felt Shinsou pushing his boundaries more than he should have let him, but whenever he opened his mouth, tell someone to fuck off when he wasn't running away at night, a wicked smile on his face, he just felt powerless, and sometimes he wondered if Kachan really had beaten him down enough to lock up so much around people. No, it's just, I don't know how to put it in words. Why not? But the thing he knew how, because he's been betrayed, because people seen the worst of him, because he knows how shitty heroes can be. However, you shouldn't keep him from becoming one. Maybe there was a reason why he always thought about it, but no, he didn't. He didn't want to be a hero. It was a trap, one that made you happy until the day you broke, and then you picked yourself up, pretending to be happy again. Izuku couldn't do that no more, and he already did. He can pick himself up. And he only knew how to run away with lies and half-told truths in his wakes. He didn't know how to be a hero. He wasn't going to try either. I do, Shinsou laughed weakly. You asked me if I wanted to be a hero, and yeah, I do. It's normal. Izuku knew that to want to be a hero was normal, except he didn't want to patronize Shinsou only because it had different views. After all, they had different experience in life concerning heroes. Heck, maybe they had a similar experience and Izuku was just assuming stuff, but it didn't mean they couldn't have different responses. Izuku was running away for all he knew. Shinsou could have been embracing the harsh truth of the world and trying to change it for the better. Parroting you back, but why? But he still asked because curiosity killed the cat and he was dead. Or trying to be. Why not? His voice was filled with amusement and Izuku could agree in some way. Well, true. True to be told, my quirk. People don't really take it well, think it's villainous, think I'm a bad guy, and when I just want to help people. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. People were mean towards those who didn't have the right quirks. Unfortunately, he expected this, and had an inkling that Shinsou wasn't treated the best because of his brainwashing. Sound pretty dangerous, but that didn't mean it wasn't. It was. Shinsou was anything from dangerous. So it's spite and pettiness? He curls his eyebrow at him, controlling his tear ducts enough to face his friend finally. Half of it, yeah. I want to prove people that I can become a hero despite my quirk, and while the other part is just, I want to help people, as simple as that. Izuku smiled at the noble goal. Simple goal. I see. Izuku took a deep breath, and something clicked in his brain. He wasn't a good guy who could ever be a hero, but didn't mean you couldn't help someone else be, because what did he have to lose? Absolutely nothing. Maybe free time, but the more he was out of his apartment, the better. Shinsou? Yeah. I might not want to become a hero, but that won't stop me from helping you. What? Izuku looked at him bewildered in his eyes, but Izuku stood up and gestured at him to get back to training. Shinsou had a goal, and Izuku could help him reach it. Maybe it was his own pettiness and spite to get back at the hero world, and maybe he just wanted to be there for people who no one could be there for. He didn't dwell on it, just watch in amusement as Shinsou stumbled after him with a quiet thanks on his lips. The phone broke the silence that had settled in the apartment after Aizawa's arrival back home and Hizashi's cheerful leave for work. The sound rousted Aizawa from his well-deserved sleep. It had better be worked as he picked up the phone, not even looking at the caller. Aizawa, we might have a problem. Tsukauchi gathered Aizawa's attention instantly. Despite just waking up for a long night of patrol, having zero amount of coffee in his system, he was awake as ever and got out of bed immediately. What is it? It's Yami. Aizawa frowned. What had the problem child gotten himself into now? Is he okay? If Yami was hurt, Aizawa was ready to go to the other side of the city in a blink. He hoped it wasn't the case, though. He'd rather pick up the kid bleeding in some random alley. He'd rather not pick up the kid bleeding in some random alley. He only has so many nerve for kids, and their inability to stay safe. No, I'm sure he's fine, but I looked up at his record over the last few months. Tsukauchi laughed, but he didn't sound amused at all. And he's been busy, and not in a good way. Aizawa sighed. Of course. Get to the point, Tsukauchi. He shuffled to the kitchen, setting a coffee machine, and listening to Tsukauchi nervously laugh again, and the sound of paper crinkling echoing over the floor. I'm afraid the kid is not as innocent as we think, and rumors spread fast. That didn't sound good. What rumors? Rumors were bad things. Rumors toward the mightiest heroes stripped them away from all the money and fame they had. What could those do to kids and villains? Absolutely destroy them without leaving a trace. He'd seen villains fall to those, heroes, and so many more. Rumors didn't need a basis to be dangerous. Yami might as well be the most wanted criminal in Mustafa right now. God fucking damn it, of course. He was. Shit. He was out of his apartment fast as lightning coffee was forgotten on the table. And that is the end of this chapter. Chapter 5. I kind of want to read the next one now, but I have to get up and do a bit of cleaning because my room is a dump and kind of unlivable in right now, so I don't know. I might read it. I might do some cleaning, do some more reading, but yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you will not be too restless waiting for the next upload. That probably won't be too long from now because I'm pre-recording all of these and just putting them on set times and dates to be posted at. So it'll probably be coming in all around near same time, one after another, after a certain amount. I just didn't expect to read this many all in one night. Right now it's like 1:32 a.m. so I should probably be in bed, but I don't have school tomorrow because, well, even though tomorrow's Thursday, I'm just not going to school, so, you know. It's not like I have to go to school, I just don't wanna. Plus I have work, so I'll be fine. I'll read some more later. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please take care of yourself. I hope you had a good day, afternoon, evening, whenever you are. And remember to hydrate, okay? Love you. Bye.